now going to hand over to the amazing Carmel Molloy from the Not-for-Profit Alliance, who is, as you know, spearheading this project and is going to run you through all the intricacies of the platform and all the awesome stuff with it. So Carmel, thank you so much for your time today, and please take it away.
Thank you, Tom, and thanks everybody. I've met so many of you, so I feel like there's a lot of familiar faces in the room, which is great to see. And a lot of you too would have been in my last session that I held on the launch day for the coaching program. So we're off at sort of the second stage of that, if you like, in that we talked a lot about the importance of goal setting and what part that plays in your coaching programs with your coachees. And this session is actually going to be about the tool that we've got for you to use, which I hope you'll really appreciate and value as part of the program as well. So thanks, everybody. I know on a Friday, it's hard to kind of get yourself motivated, let alone motivated generally these days. I was reading something this morning around the fact that the new word of 2021 is languishing. And I think that's described me in the last few weeks. And a number of people, when I expressed it to them, said the same thing. It's like, you just hit this wall if you've been in lockdown like we have in Sydney. I know not all of you are from Sydney, but many are. It just gets to that point. You do wake up one morning and go, oh, I don't really want to do it today. And it becomes tougher to find that reserves of energy and inspiration that we normally would find from being around other people and having had holidays to recharge and things like that. So instead of the old, when you ask someone how they're going and they say, good, thanks, we're all now saying, oh, you know, I'm pretty lucky considering. So there's this change in vocab around our good thanks being a standard sort of response to the how are you thing. And I think being are you okay week and are you okay day this week, that it's appropriate to talk about the fact that actually using emotive words to describe how we're feeling is really important. And I think with your coachees, obviously, that's something to really, really encourage. We do this with our Nonprofit Alliance members. We say to them, you know, if we ask you for a score out of 10, don't give us a 7, make it a 6 or an 8. You know, really commit to how you're feeling and don't make excuses about the baseline that we're coming from. So if we say, well, I'm really lucky considering, I think we'd all admit, if you don't mind me swearing, we're coming from a baseline of shit right now. You know, it's 18 months of the baseline's not good. So we might be feeling good, but it's above a baseline that's pretty ordinary. In a disaster pandemic like we've been in. So don't be afraid sometimes to give into those emotions and actually name them and call them. And part of what I'll show you today in the goal tracker is we have a confidence barometer, and the beauty of that is if you encourage your coachees to use really flowerful language, if you like, to describe how they're feeling, you're going to get a much better gauge on how your person's tracking over time, because you'll be able to see that over the period that you're coaching them, rather than getting the stock standard, I'm pretty lucky considering I get to walk by the water and all those kind of answers. So in the chat box, tell me how you're feeling. Be honest. It's Friday. Is it the first time you felt good this week because it's all over? Is it that you are actually feeling great? Is it that you're a bit over it, generally speaking? Is your new word languishing? Exhausted, a bit flat, Nicola. Great, Kathy, excellent. I'm always better on a Friday, I must admit. Feeling challenged this morning, hopeful, pretty good, but up to the antidepressants, Judith. Over it, but looking forward to the weekend. Thanks, Rebecca. Surviving, Pam. Tired, excited, flourishing. Excellent, Manisha. Overwhelmed, looking forward to the weekend. That's great, guys. So we're getting some really positive and honest words about exhaustion and other things in there as well around how people are feeling, and it's a really important time to use those words. If you're in the last session, I actually did that emotion wheel with you. If anyone wants that, just contact me. My Carmel at nonprofitalliance.com.au. A lot of our members are using that with their teams or their coachees, and it's a really great way to make people go through that journey of saying, oh, good, but was it excited? Was it, you know, content, or was it overwhelmed, or what are the words that we actually want to get from people? So have a think about that. I'm just going to share my screen with you. All right, does that come up all right? Yes, Tom, still there? Excellent. So obviously the Nonprofit Alliance is where I'm from, for anyone who wasn't in the last session, and we have a lovely relationship with Bambuddha. I also work with Anna on her board, so very proud to be part of a partnership with you guys. And I'd also like to just officially, I did put it in the chat, but also to acknowledge here the Gay Margal people of the Eora Nation, which is the area I'm from on Sydney's Northern Beaches, I should say, and never more grateful to be by the water than now. I really do feel for people who are in, high-rise type apartments with not the sort of outdoor areas that I have surrounding me and others. So yeah, we're the lucky ones, as they say. So introducing Goal Tracker today, and I do want to spend most of the time getting you on the platform today, so I won't have much of a preamble, but just a little bit to get you in the zone. So goal setting is critical to that successful coach-coachee relationship. And we talked quite a bit about this the other day in that, and not just my session, but a lot of the other ones in the launch that we had, that goal setting and that coach-coachee relationship, the balance of the work being done by the coach versus the work being done by the coachee, how do we make sure that balance is right and that the coachee is actually driving the program under your expert guidance rather than you being the person that has to actually provide content and drive the program forward. So this is a tool that actually helps you with that. And why were the goals important? Just to rehash some of the things that a goal tracking tool can help you with. It provides focus and pushes the way forward, pushes your coachee in a certain direction where the momentum's heading in the right way, helps to define success. And success is something we all need at the moment. We need those rewards. They hold you accountable, so you can't just get lost in that no man's land of what you're doing in a pandemic situation. It does actually keep you focused on priorities and hold you accountable. It informs the actions that are required for you to get there and experience success. That sets your priorities and defines them because they're written down and you go back and keep referring to them. They create meaning. There's something purposeful around a priority when you set it and understand it and commit to it. It can help lift your morale. Rather than languishing, you can actually feel like you are flourishing and succeeding. Tracking is a really important part of this, that you are seeing progress. And we all need that measurement stick. You can't just say how you're tracking against a goal without really understanding how you're measuring that success. And these tools can help you do that. And recognizing and celebrating is a big, big part of it as well. So just getting those things into your head again. The tool itself has got 4 key components, all of which you'll see today. A confidence barometer, really important as we just mentioned right now. The greatest challenge, the reason that's there is because at any point in time, your coachee might be faced with a challenge, which could be a good one or a bad one, a challenge that actually derails their goals or stands in the way or enables the goals to be achieved. It can have all sorts of different impacts on it. So those challenges that come and go need to be recognized. The goals themselves in the goal tracker part of the tool, and then coaching notes where you and your coachee can commit to making notes of actions or things that you've committed to during the program. So I'm actually going to take you through and log you on in a moment, but Goal Tracker has a QR code and it has a login, which is npagoaltracker.com, no AU. And the beauty of the QR code is we can give you a copy of that, and all you've got to do is email that to your coachee. You might want to do it once a fortnight or even once a week at the moment. And you can email it and say, hey, log on and let me know how you're going. And all they have to do is actually scan the code as if they're going into Coles, and they can tell you what their confidence barometer looks like, and you can be capturing that over time. So it's a really helpful tool to help you manage the relationship as well. So in a moment, I'm going to get you to log in. And the login is really simple. It's a first name, last name with a space in the middle. And with the space and first name, last name, it doesn't matter about caps or anything like that. It's just first name and last name as you type it. And your passwords have all been set at 12345, which you can change as you get into your own account settings. But at the moment, that's everybody's password. If we happen to have an issue with anyone logging in today, don't worry, just don't spend your time trying to sort it out. If you can't log in for any reason, just put it aside and watch the screen, because you'll be able to see me doing what we're talking about, and we'll be able to sort you out later rather than derail the session trying to sort out one login, which mightn't be a good use of everyone's time. So hopefully we won't have that issue, but if we do, and also with the login, I've got Sharne, S-H-A-R-N-E. Sharne's on standby right now. and it's shan@nonprofitalliance.com.au. nonprofitalliance.com.au. So Shan's on standby. If you do have a login problem, you can also just send her an email and she can sort you out in the background. So when you log on, you're going to see two different things. You're going to see that it opens up to this little screen. As you press log on, it opens up to this little second screen here. And it says coach, sign in. And if you click on coach, you get coach or member, sign in. And every one of you, we've given you 2 logins. And the reason we've given you that is because you've got a coach's login and then you've got your own personal login. And the one that we'll be learning the tool on today is the member login, which is your personal one, which is where you go to set goals. The coaching one is where you'll go to see your coachee's platform. So that actually gives you access to the person that you're coaching. So just to show you that now, Louise, who's with us today, I've just borrowed her, and I hope you don't mind there, Louise, from when we had a practice session, and she was exercising every day. It was one of her big challenges she'd given herself, and she popped down her personal and work and future and how she was feeling at the moment, and overall she had an 8 with a personal 7, work 8, and I've just got that in front of it, 9 for the future. So really feeling really positive. We hadn't set any goals at this point, so you don't see any goals on the dashboard, but that's what's called a member dashboard. So that's what you'll see when you go into member. When you go into coach, slightly different, you'll see this. So this is Louise's dashboard again, and she's actually coaching someone called Vanessa Song. Now, Vanessa's platform, when Louise goes into her coaching platform as a coach, she sees Vanessa, she clicks on Vanessa, or she might have 3 or 4 coaching clients and they'll all appear under Vanessa. And she just clicks on whoever's name it is and up pops the goal tracker for Vanessa. And that's where she'd be able to see how Vanessa's tracking, how her confidence barometer and other things are going, okay? So what I'm going to do now is just show you quickly, when you get in, you're going to see a menu, which is up in that top corner on your phone. So we'll go into our phones first. If you don't want to go in on your phone, you can go in through the laptop or desktop that you're on. But I will move you from phone to laptop, desktop. The reason being, when you're setting goals, it's much better to see it on a bigger screen. So I will actually do both with you today. Now, the menu you'll see, you're going to see dashboard and team dashboard. Now, it's only a team dashboard if you have team members registered. So for most people, they just use dashboard. And then you've got goals, confidence barometer, greatest challenge, coaching notes, and organization image. And the image is just the picture that you put in for yourself, whether it be a dog or your business logo or whatever that might be, and you can go in and change that. So that's the menu you're going to see. And the ones we'll be concentrating on today are the goals, the confidence barometer, and the greatest challenge, and the coaching notes. Those 4 we'll be touching on. So the first thing I want you all to do is to scan that for me on your phones or iPads. And just a reminder, you're going to see this. You're going to see this come up with Goal Tracker, sign into your account. And that's where you're going to put your first name, space, last name, and then your password 12345. And the next thing that will happen is you'll get another pop-up box and it'll say, Coach, sign in. And I want you to actually go to member, sign in. So click on coach and you'll find that member pops up.
Carmel, are you able to go back to the QR code for a second?
I'm sorry, yes, there we go. So if you have any problems, do npagoaltracker.com and that will get you in also. Is everybody in? Let's have a look here. Going back to the scan. QR code, is everyone in? Excellent. Okay. Now I'm just going to share my screen again. with you. Just hold on one moment. Now, when I'm in Louise's platform here, I'm just going to move that down. I'm actually in her coaching platform at the moment, so I'm going to go back and go into Louise's member platform.
Sorry, Carmel.
Yep.
If you go in through the website, what's your username?
Your first name space last name. It's always the same.
Thank you.
So if you look at the screen now, if anyone's stuck, have a look at the screen here. I've just logged in as Louise, and where it goes sign in, I can go coach or I can go member. So I'm going to choose member and I'm going to sign in. And this is what you should see. You should see your picture, where you're from, and you should see confidence barometer, greatest challenge, and top goal achievement. Now, what I want everyone to do is to find on the menu bar, so press those three little stripes that I was talking about up on the left-hand corner, press the three little stripes, and I want you to find confidence barometer. So this is what you'll do. You go menu bar, confidence barometer, and under confidence barometer, you'll see barometer or barometer report. You want barometer. And then it said add confidence barometer. Anyone need me to do that again? So it was confidence barometer, add confidence barometer, and then you're in. So what you're going to do is choose today's date and give me a great emotive word about how you're feeling. And then I'm going to ask you to put in your scores out of 10 for your personal, business, and future. And try not to use sevens. As we mentioned before, it's a little bit of a fence-sitting score. So try and actually say, is it a 6 or an 8 if you're tempted to give everything sevens? Because there's a big difference between those scores. So I'm going to say that I've got, let's say, personal life is a 6, business life is a 6, future, no, I'm going to go 6 as well because we still haven't got our lockdown. And there's my confidence barometer's gone in. So if I go back to my dashboard, and what I've done there, obviously, Louise, is I've put that over yours as I'm using it as a demo. I hope you don't mind. Is Louise there? I don't know that she is.
Yes, all good.
Oh, you are. Oh, there you are. Of course you are.
Yes, sorry, all good. Lovely, thank you.
Hopefully
pretty accurate as well.
And what you'll find too, Louise, you can overwrite. You'll put one in, it'll just save an additional one. So don't worry that I'm putting stuff there. We can delete it later for you.
Yeah, no, you read my mind, Carmel.
Oh, excellent. So next thing I want you to do is to go back to the dashboard and choose your greatest challenge. And what do you want to put there today, Louise? What's your greatest challenge today?
Can it be anything?
Tom, I think your microphone's on. Tom or someone's microphone's on there. Sorry.
My greatest, yeah, today. I think just getting through this week, just getting through to the end of the week.
Tom or Jason, somebody's got their mic. If they could just mute their mic, please.
It's a step, Nathan.
It's Kathy.
That's what she wants. Sorry.
Hi, Kathy. I think you might need to mute your microphone.
Thanks, Kathy. I couldn't see who it was. I could just hear a male voice. I thought it might have been one of the guys. Sorry, Louise, what were you saying the greatest challenge was?
When you say greatest challenge, so is this a short-term thing or is this kind of over?
This is a right here, right now.
Right here, right now. Yeah, getting through today.
Yeah, and right
through this week.
And that's exactly the sort of thing. And I'm just going to save that and go back to your dashboard. The reason we capture the greatest challenge is getting through today tells me that, you know, in terms of meeting your goals and how you're feeling and what's going on in your world, that gives me a lot of information. So it might have been that oh my God, it's just so overwhelming. It could have been that this wonderful opportunity's just landed in my lap and I'm beside myself with excitement, but I don't know how I'm going to get on top of it. But it's something that gives us a snapshot of where our coachee is in that point in time, which might impact on them actually achieving their goals.
Brilliant.
That's why the greatest challenge is important. Okay, so I'm just going to stop sharing there for a second. And if all of you have entered those two things, it's very simple to actually enter those. And so at any point in time, you could be sending that little QR code in an email to your coachee and say, hey, just checking in, how are you feeling? Scan the code and let me know, and you've got a little snapshot of how your guy's going. So it is an important one, and it does set the scene for any coaching session to start with that check-in and get the conversation happening and really cut to the chase about what's going on in their world. So really important before you get to goal setting to always acknowledge you're dealing with a person, you're dealing with emotions, you're dealing with circumstances. Okay, so the next step we're going to go into, and I'm just going to go back to sharing my other screen for a moment, just to get you've all had a chance now to just log into the tool and hopefully see how easy that was to work with. So that was the confidence barometer that we just used. And what happens is over time, as you can see here, you start to get all these little statements that get saved in the how you're feeling. And the confidence barometer report that I showed you in the menu bar gives all of this history of how your person has been coping over time, which is a really, really helpful tool to actually give you some deeper information over time as well. The greatest challenge, as I mentioned, you start also to get a pattern of what's challenging your person. Are they people issues? Are they external issues? Is it workload? Is it their enthusiasm for their job or career path? You start once again to see a pattern in the challenges that they're facing. But the thing we're going to spend most of our time on is the goals bit, which is a little bit more complicated and very, very important to the process. So in the dashboard, there's a section called My Goals, and this is the bit we're going to be going to. So My Goals has 3 sections to it: goal set, goal measure, and goal track. And we're going to be spending most of our time in goal set when we go on to this. But the way goal set works, before I ask you to do it, I just want to sort of talk through the principle of setting a goal and how you can use this language with your coachee as well. So when you go to set a goal, it's all about saying to your coachee, what is it that you're trying to get out of this coaching program? What are the outcomes you'd like to see? And the person you're dealing with, they might be saying, well, I'd really like to become a better leader. I'd like to lead my team more effectively and make them more accountable and productive. They might say, I want to work on my own career. They might say they want to work on their specific skills in certain areas of where they do business. They might want to work on their personal side of things because work-life balance is impacting on them. So getting to identify those top priorities is really important. And we use the language around the big rocks. And if anyone hasn't seen it, go to YouTube and look at Simon Covey's The Big Rocks Theory. And it's all around the fact that if you start doing the little pebbles when you get up in the morning and allow your day to fill up with those little pebbles, you're never going to get the big rocks into the container that you've got, which is your day or your week that you're dealing with, if you allow it to just get taken over with the busyness of email and all those other little things that you've got to do every day. So how do you prioritize the important stuff, including yourself and your own well-being and mental health, which is such a top priority for everybody at the moment? So using that language with your coachee is really important to setting goals. So ask them at the beginning, what are those top priorities for you? And then get them to get a piece of paper. And I want you to do this yourself, either a piece of paper or type it into your Word or whatever you're on in your computer. But I want you to define a priority goal for you right now. Between now and the end of the year, what would be a priority goal for you? It might be your diet and health, getting it in better order. It might be yourself within your job, something that you want to do to be a better leader or manager. What's a priority goal for you? Just one goal that you can think of. So just take a moment, everybody, to write down what might be a goal for you. We were going to do breakout rooms, but unfortunately, we've just had Tom's had a new Zoom program installed and the breakout rooms aren't enabled yet. So we'll get that sorted for next time. So just write it down on a piece of paper. Then looking at that goal, ask yourself this question: what must you do to achieve it? Because just making a statement about a goal is one thing, but understanding how you're going to achieve that goal is another. So what do you need to achieve to actually succeed with this goal and tick it off and say, yes, I've done that. I did what I set out to do. What are those things that you can say, yes, those activities that this might involve, or how you might monitor your progress and know that you've succeeded? And see if you can come up with 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 things that would define success for that goal for you. I'll give you an example. Let's say my goal was to work on my work-life balance and get more well-being time, mental health and well-being time. So one of my measures might be turning off my laptop at 5 p.m. every day. And I could say I'm going to do that Monday to Friday. That could be one of my measures of success. Another measure of success might be ensuring I exercise 3 days a week for 1 hour. Another measure of success might be diet and looking after my health and not eating junk food more than once a week or whatever it might be. So you come up with those couple of little measures of what would constitute success for you with that goal. And then I want you to attribute a percentage to each of them and say, well, really that first one, that turning off my laptop every day, Monday to Friday at 5 o'clock, that's going to be really tough for me because I'm not good at setting boundaries. And I'm going to say that one's worth 50% of this goal. And I'm going to make the other 2 25%. Totally up to you. You might have 2 at 50%. You might have 3 at 30% and another one at 10. Completely up to you. Any questions? Does anyone have any questions in understanding?
I just have a question. So the percentage you're doing it in, you're asking them to put the percentage of the impact that particular measure is going to have on the main goal. What percentage of impact?
That's correct. It's completely self-determined. So if you say to your coachee, that goal that you want to be about being a better leader, you said that one of the things you're going to do is really concentrate on how you run your one-on-ones with your team members, right? And then they gave you 2 other versions of things they were going to do to achieve that goal. You say to them, which one's the most important? How would you prioritize those? So what percentage out of 100% would you put on them? Right? Does that make sense? And it's totally self-determined. So they go, I think this part's going to be the biggest thing for me to concentrate on. Therefore, I'm going to give that 75% and I'm going to give the other one only 25%. Make sense? Okay. So when you then look at the tool and how it works, you can see here I've got coming up on the screen some examples of how people have done it. Whoops, that's not moving for some reason. Sorry about that. And here's the staying fit and healthy. They've got swimming, sailing, surfing, whatever it might be. A business goal, a governance one on delivering budgets, people and culture about wellness and onboarding and team online training. So you can have all sorts of different goals. It depends on who you're talking to, and they can be as varied as every individual is. But it's all about that person defining what they are trying to achieve. And that's one of the first steps, obviously, in coaching, that you need to establish those outcomes. Now, the beauty of this tool for you, I'll just stop sharing for a moment. The beauty of the tool for you as a coach is rather than you walking into a coaching session and having to think, oh, what am I going to do this session with this person? And you doing the preparation work, not that you shouldn't prepare, don't get me wrong, but you having to do all the preparation to take that journey forward with your coachee. What you're doing is putting the power back in the coachee's hands. You're making them define and establish up front what it is they want to achieve. And then you're bringing them back to that base plate every time of saying, remember what it was you wanted to achieve? How much have you been paying attention to that? How have you been going about it? What sort of score would you give yourself? Because it's a self-analysis here. How would you rank your performance? So now we're going to go into the actual tool itself. And this time I want you to close down your phones and go in on your computer. So just minimize the Zoom screen and go into npagoaltracker.com, no AU. So npagoaltracker.com. Now you should see your platform come up again. Once again, choose member. And I'm going to share. Is it okay if I share you again, Louise?
Yes, of course. Go ahead, Carmel.
Excellent. So can everyone see Louise's platform? Yes? Now, if everyone has a quick look at the screen here, I'm just going to show you a little trick, all right? I'm in Louise's member platform, okay? So this is where we're setting goals. This is her personal platform. If I want to get back to Louise's other platform, her coaching one, see this little arrow up here? All you need to do is click on that arrow and it allows me to go in. Whoops. Go into Louise Dean again and log in. And this time I'm going to log in as a coach. And there we are. I'm back in Louise's coaching one and I can bring up Vanessa's barometer. Okay, so I'll just close those ones up. I'll go back to Louise as a member so we can illustrate the goal setting. So I'm not a coach this time. Louise is a member, and here we go. In we go. Now I want you to go to the menu, and I want you to go to My Goals, Goal Set. Okay, menu, My Goals, Goal Set. And when you open Goal Set, you'll see Add Goal Entry. Press on Add Goal Entry, and up comes your fields about how to put a goal in. So the first one, easiest question in the world, is this a business goal or a personal goal, Louise?
A personal goal.
A personal goal. Okay. Now, Louise, what we're going to do, I'm going to dictate here. I'm going to say that this is a 6-month goal for you, just to illustrate for everybody. So I'm going to go down here, and you can see I can go 30-day goals. I can go quarter goals. So if you were going quarterly, you'd be in July, September at the moment, or you'd be up to the October to December next. I'm just going to choose the 6-month one at the moment. So I'm going to say it's a 2021 6-month goal. So I'm going to give Louise the opportunity to complete this by December. So let's imagine she could have started this back in July, but we're just going to pop it in as a 6-month goal at this stage to illustrate how it works. So what's your goal, Louise?
To improve fitness and strength.
Okay, so to improve fitness and strength. Now down here, it's going to ask Louise how she can measure her success to improve her fitness and strength. You don't have to do anything on the second line, because what happened there was it told us this goal had to be achieved between 1st of July and the 31st of December, and it was a 180-day goal. If I'd chosen, let's say I chose Q4, let's say I was planning ahead, it would have changed it to the 1st of October to the 31st of December and made it a 90-day goal. So that's completely determined by what you want to choose. If you're doing a 6-month coaching program, probably 6 months is a better time frame for you. Now in the goal category, because we've chosen a personal goal up here, the categories are already established. If we'd chosen business up here, it would be saying different things. It would be saying, you know, things like governance or finance or people and culture or marketing and sales or whatever the case may be. But because we chose personal, these are our choices. So which one would you like to do first, Louise? We can just make this up.
Fitness, the fitness. Yeah.
Fitness. And of fitness, we've got here a couple of things you can do: BMI, strength, exercise, other.
Yeah, so exercise.
And there's always another, guys. So if you can't find it, you just do other and say what it is. So what's the first one you'd like to do?
Daily, at least 20 minutes walking per day, every day.
Okay, so, and what percentage value?
50%.
50%, good on you. Right, and now I'm going to add another one. So all I did was press add goal detail. And you can see down the bottom here, see how it's saying grand total 50? Because at the moment, Louise has only got 50% of a goal and she must add it up to 100. Okay, what's the next thing you'd like to do?
So fitness, strength.
Fitness, strength.
And I want to do some sort of strength exercises with, there's an exercise thing at the park with kind of not weights, but you know, yeah, strength exercises, and I'll put 25% on that, and that's every 3 times a week.
Okay, I was just going to say that to you because otherwise you weren't really defining.
Once it's specific, yeah, and then 25%.
So I wouldn't have known if you succeeded if you didn't give me that little bit of extra there. So that's a good question to ask your coachee. And what's your last one? Or whichever.
The last one is, can I still have this under fitness? I suppose. Yeah.
Sure.
Well, maybe well-being and wellness and well-being. I just want to go on the food, like what I'm going to eat.
Well, that's fitness, absolutely.
Yeah, fitness, really, yeah. And it's so healthy diet, choose healthy diet, and then I've stopped eating dairy. So the only thing that's my vice is really the chocolate. So maybe limit myself 1 day a week for chocolate only.
Whoops.
I'm vegetarian and no dairy. So Oatly milk and no butter.
Oh, all right, so
25%, yeah,
25 on that, and you can see you've now got your 100% of a goal. So let's save that. Okay, now if we go back, as you can see, Louise has got 2 goals there. So let's go back.
I was putting that in earlier when you were talking. I did that earlier today.
There we go. Now, the one you did earlier today is not showing up on your dashboard. I'll just show everybody why that's not showing up on Louise's dashboard. If we go back into goal set, she's done a 90-day goal here from 1st of October to 31st of December. So that's a Q4 goal, and the 1st of October hasn't happened yet. So it won't appear on her dashboard until it's live.
Okay, got
right.
It.
So if you want to change that, let's say you want to say that that's also a 6-month goal, I'll just change it there and save it. Okay, and I come back to your dashboard, and there it is.
Good. Yeah. It's pretty similar to what you put in. I just did it while you were.
Yeah, so we can just go back in and delete one of these.
Yeah, I can delete one. Yeah.
It's just showing how
perfect. It works. Exactly.
What then happens is if Louise wants to go in and say, how am I doing each month, or however often she wants to check in, here she goes, and she goes, walking 30 minutes every day. I know it's worth 50%, but I'm really only getting in at the moment. I'm probably doing it 2/3 of the time. I might give myself 30% because I'm really not doing that as much as I should, right, at the moment. So that might improve. It might drop back over time. Eating less junk, she might say, I've been absolutely hopeless at that. I think I achieved it once. Strength exercise, I haven't done that at all. So what's happening is she's giving herself scores over here. Well, let's give you a little bit here. Let's say you've done a little bit of that. And what happens is she's done the equivalent of 60% here. She's done the equivalent of 20% here, which was 5 out of 25. And then here she's done the equivalent, because it rounds it up, the equivalent of around 40% of where that should be. And then it actually does a total achievement. So what happens is those scores are then saved, and we're just making this up at the moment, of course, but if you go back to the dashboard, you can see that the scores change the traffic light to over 100% of where she needs to be at the moment. Now, the reason it says over 100% is because this is day 72 out of 180, and she's at 57%. And day 72 of 180, that's not even halfway through 180% goal, I should say 180-day goal. So what it's saying is you only have to be at the point in time that you're at. Now, some goals, you keep scoring them over time. You keep adjusting your score. So at the moment, I might be doing 100% of it. Another time I might be doing 60% of it, so it could be a moving target. With others, it can actually be that something needed to be achieved. So if you had a goal, for instance, where it said you had to do training for a particular, maybe it was an online training for Excel, right? If you completed that and you said, I've completed it, I've done 100%, the 100% never changes on that particular goal because you've completed it. Other goals might be scaling up and down over time, right? So what the goal tracker does is actually establish how you're going over time. So if you had a goal, for instance, I'll just stop sharing for a moment. If you had a goal that had 3 different aspects to it, and you had to tick those 3 things off within the 6 months. So let's say we're at day 72 of 180 days, which is 6 months. You only need to be about 40-something% through your goal at that point, because 72 days is not 90 days, and 90 days would be half, right? So if you had things to achieve over a period of time, the goal tracker would say, you're doing okay. If you've done X or XYZ by 72 days out of the 180, you're doing okay. So it actually calculates over time. If it's calculating on an ongoing basis, it just keeps giving you an ongoing tally of how you're tracking. And that's something that you would monitor with your coachees as to whether it's a tick box, yes, it's done, and you've still got this much to do by the time the 6 months is up, or is it something you're doing on an ongoing basis and scoring yourself on an ongoing basis. So just sharing my screen again. So if we go into Louise's dashboard here, into my goals, goal track, all this does is give her information about how she's tracking and how it calculates it. But you don't have to fill in anything here. But just to give that example, it said here that the start date was July 1st. It was a 180-day goal, and the target was 100%. Today's date is the 10th of the 9th. I was going to say the 9th, 10th of the 9th, September. And she's achieved 45%, but pro rata, because it's only 72 days into 180, she only had to be at 40% at this point in time. So the current variance is she's down by 5. She's ahead of where she needs to be, right? So it varies depending on the type of goal you've set. So has everybody had a go at actually putting a goal in?
Yep. Yeah.
Hash, you've got goal entry, and if I said business for that goal, select the period, put the goal in, goal detail, and you just put as many as you need in there. And over here, you've always got delete, right? So if something happens, delete and edit's your savior. But with any sort of database type system, which this is, if you don't save, you'll never see this. So if I just go out of there at the moment and back to the dashboard, that goal doesn't appear anywhere that I just started to type because I haven't saved it. But you can always change a goal. So if you've gone in and set that goal that I just set in that platform, I can say edit and say, change one of these, change the dates or whatever I need to do, and save it. And that's a really handy thing to know, because if you've got a goal that's been set by your coachee, and they might have set a 90-day goal or a 30-day goal, and then something happened, you know, in their greatest challenges, something might have derailed them, might have changed the need around that goal or their ability to succeed on it, rather than have, thanks, Tom, rather than have a situation where they feel like they fail, they can actually go in and adjust the goal accordingly. You can actually say, let's roll that goal over to next month, or let's change that goal from a 1 month goal to a 3 month goal, because it's something you should be doing over a longer period of time and you're being a bit hard on yourself. So it gives you the ability to do all that. So are there any questions? I'll just check the chat.
Yeah, I believe Carmel Kathy had a question. Jump in.
Kathy, jump in, Kathy.
So I'm just in respect to the timelines. I've noticed that the actual dates are broken down into like calendar years. So is there any flexibility around that? I'm just mindful that, we're now in September, but we're able to select a 6-month period that's reflective of July to December.
Yeah, good question. No, at the moment it's all in blocks. So if you were doing, excuse that's my cat making a lot of, she's not well.
My cat is going crazy at the time.
She's actually deaf, so she can't hear herself as well. So I'm sorry about that. But yeah, with the timing, what you'd have to do is do monthly to get yourself to the next quarter, or you'd have to set 3 monthly ones or 6 monthly, but it doesn't allow the custom from today for 6 months. It is based on periods of time, either month, quarter, or 6 month or 12 month. So yeah, it's not like a 6 month from a random point in time. But yeah, that would be my advice, is to do monthly, or do something shorter term till you get to a quarter, and then do a longer one, or say it's 6 months, if they've already started doing part of that particular thing.
Judith raised the question asking, what about if they realize their initial goals are not actually important, but were externalized values?
Yeah, so I often have it with my coaches that they come in with something they think they want because they've been told that's what you should have. And then as we work together, they realize that sorry, my old dog is now going to bark, it's not actually what's truly important to them. It's just something that they put out there, and it's fine. I don't care what a client starts with, as long as they do the work to uncover, what really is there.
And I think the beauty of that editing part of it is you always go back and go, is this goal really what's important to you? And is it a priority goal? Is it a stretch goal? Because we don't want them just saying business as usual. We want them actually setting a goal, something for them to work towards, to feel that sense of success. So if you're working towards goals that are meaningless, it's defeating the purpose. And I think that will start to come out in conversation, that when you're asking them about their challenges and how they feel, if they're not relating to how they're setting their goals, there's a disconnect between the two. You really need to analyze whether the goals are important to them, and go to those big rocks, go back to what's really that thing that you want, that you really want to change, that you want to work towards. And that's the beauty of the goal setting, that it is flexible, it's self-analysis, and it allows for you to go back in and do that. I know that was a crash course, guys, because we had to do it within the hour. But if anybody wants extra work on it, or a session where we go back in and actually have a play, but please use that member profile, because that bit, you can't do any damage in there, right? That's all about you learning how to use it, so you can talk to your coachee about how to use it. And when the coachee has their own platform, one other very important thing is you can't edit their profile. Only they can edit their profile. So when you go in and see theirs, right, it's read only. You can see everything they've put there. When you go into your coachee dashboard and their goals and everything come up in front of you, you can't go in and change it, right? And that's intentional. But you can work with them where they share their screen and show you what they're doing. But please, we want it to be a success for you, and hopefully a great aid to you actually working in a really meaningful relationship with your coachees. And I'm on tap, so is Shan, to help. So please just reach out. Tom's obviously going to be the expert too in no time, and also Jason. So we look forward to helping you use the tool and hearing how you find it works with your coachees. And yeah, lovely talking to you all. Sorry it was a bit rushed there in the end, but go away and play, and stay in contact and give us your feedback. Love to hear from you.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much, Carmel. So that was all really incredibly informative, and I've been using this for some time, and it drew the curtains back on some stuff that I wasn't across as well. So thank you very much.